Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. Which is here today with another video about XRP as usual. So wherever you are on this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. We are going to discuss XRP. I must begin by stating that this sector needs a stable coin approach in the United Kingdom, extending the Chancellor's promises to promote blockchain, tokenized securities and stable coins, as well as her recent mansion residence and reform addresses. The chance for the UK to establish stable coins as essential digital financial infrastructure is described in the letter Seizing the Stable Coin Advantage, a national strategy for the UK, seize the technological, strategic and financial advantages of this quickly developing sector, bolster the UK's financial services industry's worldwide competitiveness, encourage the government's ambitious goal of economic expansion. Will they abandon a central bank digital currency if stable coin restrictions are implemented in the UK? Will they move further in the direction of a stable coin similar to what we have in the US? You see, the only distinction between a stable coin and a digital currency issued by a central bank is who issues it. In the United States, digital currency issued by the Federal Reserve is considered a central bank currency. It is a stable coin if it is issued by Ripple. The only distinction is that, however, I'm interested in seeing what the UK does next. Additionally, this makes it possible for Ripple to introduce a stable coin in the UK, shattering the SEC recently approved Tidal Trust's application for the Defiance Leverage Long Plus Income XRP ETF. An XRP ETF is being filed one after the other. BlackRock is undoubtedly taking advantage of this. In addition, the largest wealth-generating event in human history is expected to create $96 trillion, or $100 trillion, by 2032, 2034. Check out Raoul's music here. According to my research, the current cryptocurrency industry is worth $4 trillion. I believe we will reach 100 trillion by 2032 or 2034. If we extrapolate the trend pace of growth and assume that the network grows more slowly over time, 100 trillion. This indicates that $96 trillion in wealth will be created. As I often remark, since I am a complete idiot, $46 trillion in wealth is going to be produced. It's the biggest event in human history to generate wealth. A rice laborer in the Philippines may relate to it just as much as someone on Fifth Avenue. This is an incredible chance. In summary, you get to do all of this while front-running the institutions. Listen, I completely concur with you. As far as macro financial analysis is concerned, you are the king. Additionally, I would never doubt your efforts on this one. You may refer to me as a fool. You're thinking a lot. Here's the problem though. In fact, I have never referred to you as a stupid. Correct. I will never call you a moron. However, I will state, and I believe this to be very significant, that this is actually a misinterpreted evolution. This is more significant than social, and it will be for a while. This goes beyond mobile. The internet is being redesigned so that everyone may take part. Value and the flow of value are being absorbed by the internet in a level never seen before. That's the simplest way to look at it too. Additionally, journalists may become obsessed with fart coins. It's okay. It's only a little portion of it. As if you don't understand the true purpose of stable coins, you're missing out on the true uses of currency. You're not seeing the true benefits of these defying regimens, and that's alright. Pay attention to the fart coin. To be honest, I don't care about that. Correct. For example, I could only keep working with the MoonPay team to build against the trend line that we are discussing. That's why this year is so extremely bullish and exciting. As a result, I'm excited to go right away when I wake up. If $100 trillion space is created, it will require $867 trillion in tokenized assets by 2030. We will see increasing value in this area each and every year. Be aware that they must always attempt to smuggle Bitcoin in by claiming that it has a use case. With all of these additional networks, Bitcoin will eventually become a tokenized asset. It will be used across all of these other networks. BlackRock is probably going to lead that. The Bitcoin ETFs will be the first thing they want to look at. At some point, they will tokenize them all. However, when you consider the scope of this, it surpasses social media, mobile devices and the internet. It is important to emphasize that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Everyone is complaining and bitching, so why isn't XRP moving on this red day? The future is in your hands. The construction of everything is taking place in the background. I'm referring to everything we require for tokenization, custody, domestic and international payments, micropayments, and the transfer of wealth between individuals and nations. All of this is being constructed today while everyone else is preoccupied with the cost. Many individuals will be scared out before we ever see the top price points on XRP because of this. XRP is being bought and transferred by South Korean investors. They are discussing a transfer of $68 million,
and 23 million XRP. They claim that since the price has dropped to $3, this was shifted to buy the dip potentially on XRP. However, when will that purchase be made? Because XRP's price may undoubtedly change with that $68 million. Or is this merely conjecture? Since these transfers are always visible to everyone, they have no actual idea where it's coming from or heading. They immediately have a sense of what's going on in the background, both ODL, and this might be used. We're not entirely sure. Why don't we wait and see what happens with the price of XRP over the next few days rather than making any guesses about this? And when they discover it, they have to confine some of these wackos in a padded orange room. Women and men will cry as they grow up. Bitcoin never existed. XRP is usually used. Listen to this bullshit right here. I think it's also essential to mention that BlackRock is an excellent one to look at because they have both Ethereum and Bitcoin ETFs, and you can see that the Bitcoin story is straightforward. It's a compelling tale. Ethereum doesn't have a story. What is it? Why? For example, none of the other various currencies or coins that are available have a story. In fact, BlackRock recently said that they will not be offering a Solana or I'm not sure any of the other currencies. For example, they will not be issuing ETFs for XRP or any of those options. They will stick with a Bitcoin one in particular, Coinbase too, correct? For example, they continue to release these incredible Bitcoin ads. When you join up for XRP or any of the other tokens they genuinely promote, they never run a commercial about them. Since exchanges profit from the other cryptocurrency, it's like pushing them, correct? However, the narrative is exclusive to Bitcoin. Why things are the way they are is due to the mainstream's desire to divert attention while the disturbance takes place in the background. I'm telling you now, many of these Bitcoin maxis will be sobbing themselves to sleep when BlackRock files for the spot XRP ETF because they don't realize it's not Bitcoin. They simply do not yet understand that Bitcoin is not the future. They made money with Bitcoin, which is why they don't understand it. They just see that, then they are unable to look past that. Furthermore, why in the world would a cryptocurrency be based on a narrative? Why is a backstory necessary? According to Michael Saylor, it was dropped by extraterrestrial beings and is powered by cosmic energy. Like all other cryptocurrencies, it is a cryptocurrency. Over time, Bitcoin was isolated from the rest of the cryptocurrency industry. Bitcoin was not strengthened by that. It's nothing unique, so if anything it made it weaker. Under the weight of its own history, Swift will fail. It's an outdated, flawed system that will never be fully rectified. Updates are useless. Listen to what Cardano's Charles Hoskinson has to say. Eventually, interoperability will need to be present. Additionally, I believe Swift will pass away. These other big systems will also fail. They simply aren't able to support themselves. There are far too many drawbacks. The legacy is too complicated. Ultimately, there is a great deal of trust and little protection for consumers. Go to your bank and try sending a wire. If no one believes me, and the bankers say, oh well, you observe how frequently they attempt to dissuade you from sending a wire transfer, and how many disclosure documents you must submit. Wire fraud is a problem. What is your account number? The system is awful. That's right. So let me clarify this. I am able to use ledger devices, multi-sig and other stuff. They have a great deal of security, and any customer can do it with ease. However, you must invest even if you are a multi-billion-dollar financial organization. Every one of these perks, and after you send a wire, a guy calls you and asks, did you really send that wire? To make sure that's a wire transfer, I need to know every detail of the transaction, otherwise we'll freeze it. That's merely a flawed method, and it can't compete when its rivals just use your fingerprint and tap your phone with reliable hardware, like in Google phones or iPhones. We recognize you. Swift has no future. Because of this, I've been saying that for a while. Every single one of their consumers is not satisfied. What if you had to transmit $1 million to the EU from, say, the United States, and it took 3 days for it to arrive? You're hoping it's a